All right. It is a fantastic time. Thank you, my great and wonderful friends. My name is Suaveh, and this is the Transcendence podcast. And we might be short one or two. That's okay. With me today is the wonderful Light.
Help.
We do need help, by the way, in the United States of America. Desperate help. It is a
Hey,
wow.
Denmark, does that offer still stand?
Yeah, Denmark, Mexico,
Please,
Mexico. I'm right here
please.
in Arizona. You can come back for
I
your
was about
pass.
to say, come back to the land. Come, just
Please,
take it
please.
back, please.
I will.
This.
I ain't saying I'll help, but I'll be there. I'll be there.
Oh God,
Oh, this is a. We are in
it's been
a
a
transformative moment in history right now. There's a lot of ways this could go.
none of it good.
Yeah, no,
Be real.
none of it good. But you had something you wanted to start off with. What was that? What was that, my friend?
Yeah, so I feel like it's important to talk about something in light of what we're going to be experiencing today on this show, and it is separating uh, art from artists and words from people and actions from what people produce, right? So there has been a resurgence of a particular artist, let's call him Johnny Craig, in recent months, who did some really problematic shit back in the early 2010s. I won't get into all of it, but let's just say it involves scamming people, sexual assaults, uh, just being a general d-bag, and people. He's starting to get popular again. So much so that I think Dance Gavin Dance might have released new music with him. I'm not sure. I have to look into it more. But the point being is that there's a whole like subgenre of like people that are not aware of what the guy has done, and it sparked the entire debate of art, art versus artist again, of separating people from the things that they put out and they do. And to a point, that's fine, right? Like, for instance, the old music that Johnny Craig put out with Dance Gavin Dance no longer supports him. So if you really don't like the guy, you can listen to the music guilt free.
Yeah,
However, that is usually the point where you can't separate art from artist, is by partaking in their art, you usually financially support them in some way.
yeah.
If you're doing it through official channels.
If you're buying something new, buying a new, I don't know, wizard book or wizard game or something, you could say, of a certain very transphobic artist,
Yeah.
author.
Yeah.
Just
If you don't like what Hasbro has done with Wizards of the Coast and everything, unfortunately, when you buy stuff from say D&D Beyond
or
or
roll 20.
from Roll
Roll
20,
20
you're
gets a
directly
cut,
supporting them.
but
Yeah, it's
most of it's
unfortunate, but
going
that's
to.
how it is. And that kind of leads into I think everything that's been going on today, because when you try and separate the things that they've done, the things that people do from who they are, uh, you find that you can kind of see the line. So the first thing, I think the thing that's like not as explosive is Senator Cory, what's his name? Cory
Cory
Booker?
Booker.
Cory Booker
Cory Booker, yep.
got up on the podium and spoke for 25 hours, breaking the previous record held by,
Strom
I don't remember the
Thurmond.
senator. Yeah.
Strom Thurmond. And
Yeah,
if you don't
Strom
remember
Thurmond
Strom
back in the
Thurmond, we have to remember Strom Thurmond is from the literal civil rights era, and what Strom Thurmond filibustered against was rights
Civil
for
Rights
black
Act.
people.
Yeah, the Civil
Black
Rights
people
Act.
being able to vote, black people being able to go eat dinner at a restaurant, civil rights, things that is normal nowadays. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Just wanted to
he
have a
filibustered against the Civil
justification.
Rights Act. Yeah. So Cory Booker sat there, or stood there, more accurately, and filibustered about the current state of the United States government, the economy, reading letters from his constituents, many of whom were sending in, basically sending in letters saying that they were afraid of what's happening right now in the country. And this man sat there, again, stood there for over a day, did not use the bathroom, did not eat, did not drink, did not sleep, and was more coherent than the current president of the United States for the entirety of it. Did not repeat a single point. And detractors of this will say, oh, but it was performative, it didn't mean anything. Unfortunately, in today's world, to get anything done, you have to be some level of performative. Look at the fucking campaign of our current president. It was all performance. The opposite campaign, a lot of it was performative too.
You've got to be clear. This is the dude who still hasn't stopped having rallies.
Exactly.
And he never did, even in his first term. In his first term, this is stuff that demagogues do. They have to speak in front of people like narcissists. They have to speak in front of people because it gets them their like validation. They get to say, all these cheering people, they love me. Even though I don't say anything of substance, I just say the same thing I said at the last speech, at the last rally. But they have to have it for themselves. That's why you never saw Joe Biden going out and every other week and having a rally. He didn't do that. There's a difference between our political spectrum right now, and it's
one
like
half of it is a cult, and the other half of it just can't be bothered to interact with them anymore.
Yes, that's yeah.
If you want to be the most blunt you can be about it.
Yeah, it is
yeah. Yeah. Other news from this week, Elon is looking to be they're looking to oust Elon from his position because of a monumental fuck up in the Wisconsin Supreme Court election. That got discovered, basically. They basically just blatantly did it in the open, trying to get a GOP-leaning Wisconsin Supreme Court member elected, spent upwards of $20 million, reportedly sent $1 million checks to people to get them to vote in the right-leaning candidate's favor, and that candidate still lost.
It confirms to me that people truly, like a lot of people truly don't want anything that Donald Trump or any Republican has to say at this point. It just confirms that. And also confirms the fact that it's weird that in my state a lot of Democrats won, a couple of Republicans won, and then Donald Trump won. We didn't elect Carrie Lake, who's insane, but says the exact same stuff that Donald Trump says, which is weird. We didn't elect the white woman, but we did elect Donald Trump, the white man, who's leading the country saying the same stuff that Carrie Lake was saying. So it's just this weird, like, the people don't locally want the things that Donald Trump says, but for the most part, they're okay, or the people that voted locally for the people of Democrats just didn't vote for the federal stuff. I don't understand exactly what's going on in that. Like, there's a disconnect there somewhere for me. You feel?
I mean, like I said, it's a cult.
It is. Well, like the Republicans, it is a cult. It is.
Yeah, it's a rabid fucking cult. And the reason why they're able to get so much done on such a large scale is because that's what cults do.
Yep.
I don't know if we've ever seen a cult this size before, which is kind of insane. I think the last time would have been in 1940s Germany. You don't need to be a history buff to know exactly what I'm talking about there. Because yes, that party was also a cult of personality surrounding one man who was essentially had his, all of that hateful garbage. He was a puppet. He was a puppet piece for it. He became the face of hatred for the entire world.
It's crazy how that works, right? How
yeah,
someone who's nominally a public figure and nominally hateful, like Hitler. Don't get us wrong. Hitler was a racist.
Yeah,
he was a racist.
Not a good man.
He did not like Jewish people, but it wasn't necessarily his idea to do all
Put
of
them
it.
in camps.
He was
And
like, okay, he was okay, you know, just killing them all. But there is how do you call it? Paperwork that must be done in bureaucracies, which Germany still was, no matter
yeah,
how much like us they wanted to trim down the excess. It it is very difficult to move a mass amount of people like that, no matter what.
yeah, and I think that's a great segue into the main thing that happened today.
Oh yeah.
This was not a topic that was going to be discussed today, but yeah, uh, yeah. So our lovely president, announced today that there will be a blanket 10% tariff on all imported goods from all countries, with rates going even higher for 60 countries deemed the worst offenders who have the highest trade deficits with the United States. It is so bad, it is so egregious that the Trade Secretary of the United States had to come out in an interview and say to other nations, don't reactionarily do something about this. Don't do it. Don't go into a trade war with us. And he called it a trade war. He said, "Don't participate in the trade war."
It's crazy how that works. It's crazy how that works, right? And I
Yeah.
accidentally just started recording because I'm very smart.
Yep. Good job, buddy. So 9 minutes ago, an article just came out that apparently 4 Senate Republicans are going to join with the Democrats this evening to go against uh, a resolution.
Yeah,
Yeah,
did you put
supported
it
by
in?
So the Senate adopted a resolution by vote of 51 to 48 aimed at blocking the Trump administration's proposed tariffs on Canadian imports. Is the exact wording of the article.
Did you drop it into the Discord real quick so I can just see
It's the same. It's this just the CNN link.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Yeah. I'm getting just periodically
Updated
popping over
notes.
there to check.
Let's see.
Yeah, the 4 Republicans who voted with Democrats were Senator Rand Paul, who co-sponsored the resolution, Susan Collins, Mitch McConnell.
Mitch
What the
McConnell.
fuck?
I will say this once again. Mitch McConnell doesn't have anything else to lose.
Yeah, no. That
He has-
man,
he
he's
has nothing to
literally just
lose.
like, burn it all.
So he's like, well, I fucking got him here. I'm gonna do something, I guess. He's got nothing to lose except his legacy, which is the United States.
Yeah.
That man has put too much work in for Trump to burn it down in 4 years.
Yeah. Yeah. And to no surprise, the article right below that, released 30 minutes ago, is Democrats, doing what they always do, saying shit, and then the Republicans just backing the president. Because why not?
Why is it that whenever a Democrat is president, not all the Democrats are in line with the Democratic president? And I don't want them to be. Let's get that clear. I don't want them to just lockstep in line agree with the Democratic president just because he's a Democrat. But why is it that the Democrats can't get any organization, but the Republicans, I know why. It's the Heritage Foundation. They've been like doing this for fucking 40, 50 years almost. The Republicans are able to do that. It's just it's something only America can pull off.
In the way that it has been for this long.
For this long, where it's like, it's obvious the Republicans haven't cared about compromise, like true compromise, for 30 years. Since at least like Newt Gingrich. The dude literally was like, I'm just gonna say no. Like for 30 years, the Republicans have not cared about compromise, but that's the only thing the Democrats care about.
Which is ridiculous. which is the whole point of the man standing in front of the Congress for over a day and keeping them there. Was to tell his fellow Democratic Party members, hey, fucking do something.
It
Like, a bunch of people are misinterpreting what that was about. It wasn't for the voters. It was not for, like, left-leaning voters to basically say, hey, this is what's happening. No, this was for his fellow, like, politicians, current senators in government to say, hey, this is what people are telling us. They are fucking terrified of this shit. They can see the writing on the wall, and the wall is burning down. We need to do something.
I think talking about what three Republicans had to say will sum up everything that really goes on. What I think is what's wrong with the Republican Party. This is Representative Jim Shorts Jordan, the man who covered up a sexual assault scandal in Ohio State or Ohio University. I don't remember. He covered up a sexual assault scandal at a university, though, by the way. Just saying. Americans trust President Trump on the economy, he said on X. Like the economy in the first term that he had that was literally fine until he decided not to do anything about a pandemic. Like that economy? Okay.
Yeah,
okay,
so here's the funny thing. Here's the quote above it, like the very first thing. House Speaker Mike Johnson said that Trump's tariff policy would result in the impacted countries lowering their tariffs imposed on the U.S. He told reporters he was not concerned about the political impact, and the president's vision on tariffs shouldn't be doubted because he delivered during his first term, quote, the greatest economy in the history of the world, unquote. Do you want to know why it was the greatest economy in the world, quote unquote? Because it was not his economy. This is literally.
Well, you gotta understand. You gotta understand. He's never seen anything like my economy before in his life.
Exactly.
So we
it
obviously
was Obama's economy. It was fucking Obama's economy. People attribute Obama's victories to Trump because they kicked in during Trump's presidency.
Absolutely.
And that was the way he got away with fucking everyone because he could slowly introduce bad policy and fuck it all up, and it would be reintroduced to the next person.
Absolutely.
I have no doubt that a lot of the bad policy, like economic policy and tax code that we saw introduced during Trump's first presidency, was in some way preparatory for the fact that some people on his like staff team and probably him himself potentially realized that he was not going to get reelected for a second term immediately. Like some of it had to be the puppet, like some puppeteer playing the long game and realizing he was not going to be reelected for a second term immediately. Thus, when his bad shit kicked in, it would be blamed on the next person coming in by people who didn't know any better. Who still don't know any better, who won't be persuaded by the fact that that is how the system works. And you can show them empirical data that that is how the system works, that is how policy works. It does not go into effect immediately. It takes time for things to be implemented because we are such a big fucking system that these things take time to enact the changes that they're going to make. And it is so glaringly, horrifyingly telling that he says that things are going to happen and shit starts to happen immediately. The stock market has begun to tank since the announcement of these tariffs.
I knew when he passed the law because I fucking read the thing. I was like, okay, so if he gets reelected, he's just gonna say like, oh, your taxes were going up. I got rid of it. And then it's like, well, you signed that into place. Or he's like, oh, you elected me back into place. I can do whatever I want now. It doesn't matter what you do. And which, we're here anyway. That's what I think would have just happened. We just would have been 4 years earlier at this point if he would have been reelected in 2020. I don't think he had as many, what do you call it, insane people on his team then, but he would have found them. They would have found him because the people that literally support him like the New Apostolic Reformation, which are like his literal people, like the fucking what's her name, Paula White. Like that's
Yeah, Jesus.
they are
Yeah,
people
no.
that go very deep into American politics. So like they'll find somebody for Donald Trump, the Heritage Foundation, the New Apostolic Reformation, the Republican Party, whatever, because at that point he ran the Republican Party already. They would find what he wanted, and we would have been 4 years deeper into Trump at this point if he would have
Yeah.
been reelected.
Yeah,
He just didn't.
some of it just screams like, because the way it was so purposefully fucked. Like, I remember I was in high school when Trump first got, or I had just come out of high school when Trump got elected, right? The
Yeah,
first time
I
in
voted for Hillary.
2016. Yeah. I remember very specifically when the tax code plan that Trump put in place was announced, I think in early 2016. I think it was like early into that year.
Yeah, it passed in
Or early into
2017
his
in December.
early into his presidency, he announced what his tax code was, and I remember very specifically seeing like a news report about it saying that in the short term, yes, it looked very appealing, but in the long term, say within the next 10 years, it was going to completely burn people. Like it was
Mm-hmm.
going to completely fuck the middle class.
And
I
it did
remember that
exactly
so
that.
specifically because that is the reality we are currently living in, and it's not even been 10 years.
Well, it was set to go up like every fucking every year or whatever until, or it was set to cap off at like 2020 and then go up every year after that
Yeah, and
or
it's
something
just
like that.
been
Like
we've been living under
it
his tax code since like what 2018, essentially. It's been taking that long to fucking come into effect.
no,
Like Jesus.
it is
Like some of it just
ridiculous.
seems like you look back and it's like how they must have like someone must have predicted it. Someone must have predicted that like the wave would have happened where everybody turned against him, and so like
I
they put these
truly,
horrible policies in place to fuck the next person.
if he wouldn't have let over 1 million Americans die during COVID, he would have been reelected.
Probably.
I don't think he messed up enough in their minds.
Yeah,
I
if
like to me, I'm like, there's no way I'm voting for this dude. He's a bigot. But like, that's not like a disqualifying factor for a lot of people. Like
no.
just someone being a hateful bigot, that's not a disqualifying factor. So it didn't matter. I in fucking 2019, I was like, yeah, I guess it's whatever.
Yeah.
And then 2020 happened. I was like, yeah, there's no fucking way. It didn't happen. I was like, there's no way he's gonna win, and he didn't. Even in 2024, I was like, I don't fucking know, man. He shouldn't win. He should be in jail.
Yeah, like the fact that he got convicted of a bunch of felonies right before the election took place should have been the thing that tipped most people off. Hey, that's not a good person to run a nation. And they were
Even
felonies that happened while he was president the last time.
it's
That's the
like it's like they hear that he's trying to extort another country, and they hear the call, and they hear the call of him trying to tell the press the not the press secretary the Secretary of State of Georgia, I just need this many votes for me to win. Can't you find this many votes for me? And they're like, no, that's fine. That's my guy. That's my guy. I love a cheater.
Well, here's the thing, right? Here's the amazing thing that the current that MAGA did, right? They took disenfranchised poor white Americans and convinced them that their enemy was not the people at the very top who had fucked the system against them, but it was the people around them who were not the same skin tone as them in the same situation, but who did not share their same skin color, that were taking up everything.
It's been that way for a
That
long
is that is the
time in
magic
politics.
that they invoked. They invoked the oldest, simplest magic of human psychology.
They really
That
did.
person is not like me, therefore they are the enemy.
They really did do that, didn't they?
Yep. That is the
It's
it is the simplest, oldest magic of leaders, of powerful, imperial what is it, king fucking royalty. That's what I'm looking for.
Nope.
Powerful royalty,
Those in power.
the noble class. Nowadays, the political power, those in political power. That
It's
is it is the oldest, darkest magic that they invoke.
And like at some point in human history, like sure, there might have been a barbarian tribe that actually was coming through the mountains and they wanted to rape and pillage your entire village. But the migrant caravan
Yeah, the people
just
who came here
doesn't
from a different
exist.
country. Yeah, but the people who came here from a different country who are looking to better their lives for themselves, but primarily their children, like their future generations, to make something better than what they had in their previous, geographical location. That is not your enemy. Those are just people trying to survive, just
And
like us.
and you always notice it's always from the countries that the US has a hand in destabilizing too. Like
Oh yeah.
like like when they always want to blame Mexico, but it's not really Mexicans that are crossing the border like illegally or however. I first up, I don't think you can cross the border illegally on land that was literally stolen from people that lived here for tens of thousands of years. That you can't have borders when that concept of borders wasn't around for most of human history, and all of a sudden you get here and you're just like, well, this is ours now. And the people who lived here for tens of thousands of years were like, we fed you and like helped you out in the winter and you killed us. I guess it is yours now. Congratulations. So like that's the
Congratulations,
legacy,
you've done colonialism.
like that's the legacy of the United States though. And that's what we're continuing to do. To be
Yeah.
completely honest, we're going to other places. We're literally kicking them out, and when they're like, we have nowhere else to go, the only thing that we know English because the fucking United States came and fucked Venezuela up 10 years ago, and so we're gonna go there. Maybe someone in Kansas, maybe
So
a place in Kansas might be able to help me. I don't know.
so so here's some historical facts about the new tariffs. President Donald Trump's massive new tariffs would send the U.S. tariff rate dramatically higher to levels unseen since around 1910, according to Fitch ratings.
Oh, great! Right before the fucking First World War. Congratulations.
That surpasses the roughly 20%. So essentially, Trump's very aggressive moves are set to lift the U.S. tariff rate from just 2.5% last year to 22%. That surpasses the roughly 20% tariff rate the United States charged following the infamous Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act of 1930, which set off a global trade war that economists say worsened the Great Depression.
They tried to do one in the 1830s as well during one of their Great Depressions, and it didn't work then either. Crazy. It might have been the 1850s, right before the Civil War. Crazy how that works, though, right? How it just didn't work ever.
This is a quote from Olu Sonola, head of U.S. economic research at Fitch Ratings. This is a game changer not only for the U.S. economy but for the global economy. They said many nations will likely plunge into recession. You can throw most forecasts out the door if this tariff stays for an extended period of time, quote unquote, the Fitch economist said. That is fucking insane. We're going back, like, we're entering the 20s.
Yep.
This is exactly what it was back in the 1900s.
The roaring 20s, y'all.
The roaring 20s were great. Everything was fantastic. The first World War had ended. The U.S. economy was fucking booming because of all the wartime economy leftovers, and then everything crashed into the floor in 1929.
Yeah, crazy how that works.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see. Because they did some tariffs in. Hey, here it is. The second party system. So in the early 1830s, I want to say the Whigs. No, not the Whigs. No. One of the parties, I think it was the Whigs or the Republicans, installed tariffs on a bunch of countries, and it fucking didn't work. It just didn't work. It's crazy how that worked.
Yeah, it's
1828.
crazy. It's almost like tariffs just don't really work.
So after
It's like
1812, higher tariffs. That didn't do much. They declared during wartime, and the culmination came in the Tariff of 1828, ridiculed by free traders as this tariff of abominations with import custom duties averaging over 25%. Intense political opposition to higher tariffs came from Southern Democrats and plantation owners. And you have to understand, like, they're tariffing the goods that, like, the Southern plantation owners are making. So like that's why the southern plantation owners were not happy about that, and like I understand that it makes sense, but also it didn't work. It didn't work. It just led to the Civil War 20 years later.
It's almost like tariffs don't work.
It's like there's a very fine line where tariffs work, and it seems like the United States had it figured out pretty good. Let's be clear, the United States wasn't in any tariff wars in front of this, so it seems like the tariffs that we already had were working.
Yeah, it's almost like upping tariffs as an act of economic stability to try and stabilize your fucked up economy. It just doesn't pan out very well. Usually, it leads to global instability and war, or
Yeah,
domestic instability and
it just
war. If you're 200 years ago,
all of a sudden everybody has to pay more, and you've just pissed everybody off for no reason other than you were a little greedy.
yeah.
Not a little greedy, you were a lot of greedy. I'm talking to you, Donald Trump. You were a greedy motherfucker, and I don't like you. Personally, I don't like you. I didn't vote for you, so obviously.
There are probably a lot of people today, and for legal reasons, I'm going to say that because he is currently the president, I'm not going to say I share this opinion, but there are probably a lot of people across the world right now who are wishing that back in, I believe it was September or October, that the person who took that shot was just a little bit to the right, or was it left? I think it was his left ear or right ear that got messed up.
Yeah, it would have been to the left or
Yeah,
whatever.
just a little bit to the right, just a little bit to the side, a little bit. There are probably a lot of people around the world right now who are wishing that was the case.
Yeah. I don't blame him. I'm not mad. I'm not mad at you. We need to move on. We should move on.
Otherwise, we're gonna start crying.
Yeah, I like it. We're not happy about the tariffs. That we're not happy. There's no reason to start a tariff war, which is what the country has done at this point. That's
Yes.
what's happening.
This is just another move to isolate the U.S. from the world and essentially insulate it and prepare it for a fascist dictatorship. That's it's just moves straight out of fascist playbook 101. It's insane. A lot of people who are going to disagree with whatever is said here. I'm sorry. I wish that you had the capacity for not only empathy but apparently rational fucking thought.
Yeah.
I hope that one day you drink some bleach.
Maybe the bleach will clear their system or something.
Yeah.
A little
Yeah, the bleach will clear out all those toxic vaccines that you were forced to get as a child.
Yeah,
and
it's
finally free you to an elevated thought, elevated place of being.
Twitch.
And for those of you who
jokes.
Understand what I just said, that was satire.
Twitch, these are jokes. Do not ban us. We are
for legal reasons.
literally
that's a joke.
using satire to tell the world that it's not great in America.
Because for common sense reasons, obviously no one is ever going to down bleach. Please don't ever do that. That's a disclaimer.
I think what we should talk about is the fascist way that the Trump administration, they're saying Trump is arguing that he, as the president, has the power to remove people based on their nationality. He is saying he has the power to remove people based on their nationality. I'm going to repeat that just one more time for you. That means if you're from another place and he doesn't like what you're saying or doing, or maybe thinking, I don't know, thought police could be a thing. He's already following the playbook. He thinks he has the power to just take you out, which he has done several times to several people who are green card holders, legal immigrants, undocumented immigrants. Like, he's just doing it. Even though
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. I just don't understand why do it.
Yeah.
Even though the court said you can't do that, they were like, well, the plane's already in the air. Can't really turn back now. Well, you could. You could. But no, we showed you the pictures of that last week. That's what's happening. And it's not right. Like, there's no way you think there's no way that you think that's right. What do you think about that?
I will tell you exactly the way that is going to be used. That if that statement ever becomes true, that way will be used. Take me for instance, right? I'm a generally pretty average white guy, right? Mostly due to my mother's genetics, but half of my genetics are, straight Mexico. Like, my father was an illegal immigrant. He stayed here long enough to essentially conceive me and then got deported. I've never met the man. He apparently re-entered the country at some point. My mom heard before she passed, etc., etc., right? There are a lot of people like me who just have a little bit of like extra blood that they don't look 100% European, like white European. You're mixed. Darren, our other co-host is Darren. He's not white. He's not just a general white man. It's like
The Cisne is the only one of us who's a white person. A white
yeah,
woman.
and guess so the rest of us, like, we have some grounds of being like, okay, that makes, it's like, okay, yeah, we're technically of a different nationality, even though we were all born in the U.S. and
I'm
raised
not.
in the
I'm
U.S.
African American. My descendants have been here longer than most white people's descendants. That's also another
Exactly.
thing. Like, both sides
Yeah.
of my descendants have been here for 400 fucking years.
Yeah, exactly. This is the land that we were born and fucking raised on. We've never been anywhere else.
Not going anywhere.
Yeah. Point. The reason why I set all this up is because you could say, oh well, you have the blood of another place and you go to that place, right? Whatever. You could just say that he could just say that any person is from a place. Like, oh, you're white? I don't like what you're saying. Oh, you're obviously from Europe. Get out of here.
And notice they didn't send people from Venezuela to Venezuela. They sent people from Venezuela to El Salvador.
Mm-hmm.
Notice. It's you don't do things like that unless you're malicious about it. Unless you're being malicious. El Salvador has worse prisons than the United States does. And I don't say that lightly.
Yeah.
Like if a place has worse prisons than the United States, it is bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The reason why I set it up that, like, yes, we are obviously speaking as a group of people who are obviously not the ideal Aryan race that that was spoken of so long ago.
Like 2,000 years ago.
Yeah, but not even at this point. Like 100.
Well,
like,
no,
like
it was
around
first
100.
spoken of like 2,000 years ago. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like that's how far back these people have to go. They're like, yeah, I'm going all the way back.
Yeah, you're going deep in that bitch.
Like, dude, just be you. You're fine just as you, as long as you're not a hateful bigot. They get
That
mad though.
really
They get
is.
mad. Like Elon Musk gets mad when someone makes fun of him for losing a bunch of stock, which he
But he said
saved.
like a month ago that empathy is weakness.
Yeah, empathy is weakness though. Yeah.
Yeah,
Which
but oh,
he's
guys, stop making fun of me for doing all these things that are shitty. I
which
love
I
how. But can we let's transition into something a little funny just from that because holy
mhm.
gee, I'm gonna have an aneurysm. Um, the point being from that last thing, I'll spell it out very clearly. If you if a person in power has the capability to just say get out of this country and deport you for being a quote unquote different nationality, they can say that your nationality is anything, no matter what you look like, the color of your skin, the way that you speak. You could be like the most obviously American, like speaking with that stereotypical Southern accent ever, and he could say, "Oh, you're from like you're from South, what is it, South Africa, right? Primarily white, foreign place, and then deport you to some horrible fucking third world prison where they treat people like animals." That was the point.
I taxpayer dollars went to fucking like
Taxpayer dollars went to putting
like
people into an El Salvadorian concentration camp.
like that is literally what just happened. Our taxpayer dollars, and that it wouldn't be the first time our taxpayer dollars historically have put people in concentration camps, but at least
Yeah, we won't
historically we
even talk
weren't